I wanted to talk about why I unfollowed people on social media, because as an entrepreneur, it's important to sort of eliminate distractions, right? So something that a lot of people don't understand is that, our time is almost, in the financial world, they call it death by 1,000 cuts. So most people actually don't lose all their money with one or two big purchases. I'm actually gonna take this hat off. I don't like this hat. I don't even know why I'm wearing this freaking hat in this video. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This one's a little bit different. I just wanted to talk about why I unfollowed everybody on social media. So if you go to my Instagram account right now, just at Trey Cockrum, you'll see I actually only follow like 15, 16 people max at any given time. And those people are clients, and those people are business associates of mine, and family. So family, business associates, clients, and you could probably go and see who I'm working with and who my family is if you wanted to. But I actually wanted to talk about sort of the psychology behind why I did that, and actually what drove the decision, because as you guys know, I'm an entrepreneur, so I actually work from home. I'm actually working today in my car, which you can see here. I'm literally just chilling out in my car and just working from my phone, because I have a team member, or team members. I have one who will edit these videos for me and upload them and everything like that. I run my personal brand, and I run a marketing agency. In the marketing agency, now we're in the process of hiring on certain people like copywriters, and then as well some paid traffic people, and just, I wanted to talk about why I unfollowed people on social media, because as an entrepreneur, it's important to sort of eliminate distractions, right? So something that a lot of people don't understand is that, our time is almost, in the financial world, they call it death by 1,000 cuts. So most people actually don't lose all their money with one or two big purchases. I'm actually gonna take this hat off. I don't like this hat. I don't even know why I'm wearing this freaking hat in this video. But a lot of people don't actually lose all their money in like one or two big purchases. Most people actually lose their money when they go ahead and, they are, what's the right word? They are unattentive to the small, tiny little things that they waste their money on. So somebody who could have like 10 grand in the bank ends up with only like 6 grand in the bank, because they spent, 32 times they spent, 40 bucks here and there, and it begins to add up really quickly. And that's the same with your time, right? So with your time, you have to be really attentive to that as well, because with money, you can actually get money back, right? Which is something that a lot of people don't understand. Like, you can make money back, so you can waste money. Of course, it's not responsible to do, but you can, because you can make it back. With time, though, it's very different. Time is much, much, much more valuable than money, because time is a constant, steady flow, and it's never going to pick up pace or slow down. It's unforgiving. It's an unforgiving beast, and if you're not on its side, then it's against you. And so I realized that one of the things that I was really wasting a lot of time on was literally just scrolling through Instagram. Like, I would literally just be spending my days scrolling through Instagram, and I would probably spend an hour and a half, 2 hours every single day just scrolling through Instagram. And it would be the most ineffective use of my time I could possibly churn up. Yet I do it, and I do it over and over again. And not only that, but it also forced me to compare myself to people. So there's certain business associates or certain people that I follow where they look to be more successful than me in a certain area. And if I see that on my Instagram feed, then it actually demotivates me. When it should motivate me, but because there's, maybe deep underlying insecurities of some kind or whatever it may be, it demotivates me, right? And so the crazy thing is, by unfollowing people, by unfollowing everybody, I literally eliminated the desire completely to check Instagram and to scroll and to, waste my time on the platform. And people might think, like, Trey, didn't you just totally destroy your social life and remove everybody? No, because the people aren't leaving. The people are still there. The people that matter, I can still get on the phone with them. I can still call them. I can still check in on them. Like, the people that matter, I will seek out, and as well, vice versa, they will seek me out. There's no reason for me to have so many people. It's literally insane. Some people are following 700 people. How do you even keep track of 700 people at any given time? How do you know? Tell me 50 of the people you're following. List off 50 of them. I can now tell you everybody that I'm following. I know everybody that I'm following and why I'm following them, for very specific reasons. I follow my little sister because she's my little sister, right? I follow certain business associates because I have to know what they're up to, and as well, maybe my agency is handling their brand in some way, right? So I have to follow them because I want to see what they're up to. So look, Why I unfollowed everybody? Because it's a waste of your freaking time, and it's not going to produce any results for you, especially if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you're in business. Now, if you're a normal person and you're not in business and you're just wondering, like, should I do this? Should I unfollow everybody? Absolutely. Unfollow everybody and start reading books or something, right? Like, unfollow everybody, or maybe even delete the app. I have to have the app because it's a part of business for me. Like, I have to have Instagram, I have to have Facebook, because I use those to make money in different various ways, right? So I have to have those. But for the average person, social media is a completely and totally destructive drug, and it needs to be maintained. And if you are stuck in a loop where you can't get off of Instagram, or you can't get off of Facebook, or you can't get off of Twitter, I highly recommend going through the process of going through a dopamine fast for a day, 2 days, 3 days, or even up to a week, where you starve yourself of anything that produces dopamine, anything at all. Movies, YouTube, social media, anything like that. Because for me, for example, I have clients that pay me multiple 4 figures a month. I just booked a coaching student for $3,000. I sell programs at just south of $1,000. Like, I'm a very high level business, person, or whatever you call it. Like, I'm a high level entrepreneur. Like, I sell stuff, and I absolutely have to dedicate my time to the betterment of my products and services and the betterment of myself. And if I don't do that, then I create a glass ceiling for myself, and then I'm screwed. But what a lot of people don't realize is that even if you're not an entrepreneur, you are putting a glass ceiling there for yourself by indulging in anything, including social media. So let's say, even for example, Netflix. Let's say you spend 2 hours a day on Netflix. 2 hours a day, that's 14 hours a week, and that adds up to about that's about 60 hours a month, which is a lot of days of your month dedicated to Netflix. Right? And if you do up the math, you end up spending almost an entire month, if not half a month, on, like, 3/4 of a month on Netflix at the end of your year. And that's a lot of time. And there's nothing wrong with, enjoying yourself. I think it's important that we enjoy ourselves, but it's important that it comes after progress. Like, we're here to work. We've been put on this planet to do something. We've been put on this planet to build. And if you are denying that nature, then you're going to be miserable. So that's why I unfollowed everybody, is because social media became such a hook for me. It was like such an easy out, right? Like, if I were stressed, because if you don't face the pain of what you're going through, and you don't actually just look at the project you're working on and allow it to hurt you, then you're going to it's almost like getting behind on like, let's say, for example, put yourself back in high school. Let's say you've got homework. It's like getting behind on homework, You'd rather just stay on top of the homework than get behind and then have to spend a month catching up, right? But that's what we do with our personal problems for some reason. I don't know why. And social media is one of these things, because we're lying to our brain. We're saying everything's okay, everything's fine, and we're giving ourselves dopamine to convince our brain that everything's fine. But everything's not fine, and there's so much we have to do, and there's a lot we have to fix. And so that's why I unfollowed everybody, is because I found myself in that position where if something was going bad, like, on average, I noticed that if I wasn't happy with my business, I would spend more time on social media. But what I'm supposed to do is spend more time on my business, to fix it, to get it better, to work on my products, to work on my services, and to work on myself. But I would spend time on social media instead. So that's why I unfollowed everybody, because it's completely useless, and it drove no revenue for me. And I highly recommend, even if you're not in business, because I know a lot of my followers on this YouTube channel are entrepreneurs themselves. But even if you're not in business and you're just a completely normal person, unfollow people, or even just delete the app, or spend a week dopamine fasting, where make a list of everything that produces dopamine, which means you enjoy it, which means your flesh, your body takes pleasure from it in any way, and make a list and avoid those things for at least a day. Just be dead bored, and the only thing you're allowed to do is write. That's the only thing you're allowed to do, is you have a pen and notepad, you're allowed to write. And the things you're allowed to write are things like ideas, are things like thoughts that you might just want to write down, things like the things you're thinking, so thoughts like maybe things you would just want to put on, like, that's the only thing you're allowed to do, is just write. But everything else you're not allowed to do, right? So that is the reason why I unfollowed everybody on social media. And it's because it's a dopamine fast. It's a way to get myself to reject the things that make me satisfied, right? And then it forces me to produce. So if you reject consuming, it forces you to produce, because producing slowly begins to have the same emotional effect and chemical effect as consuming would, because you begin to enjoy it just as much. So that's why I unfollowed everybody. I highly recommend that you do it as well. It's a huge strategic move. And if you haven't done it, if you're still on social media, if you still spend hours on it, just delete it. Go on a dopamine fast. Show your body that you don't need these things, and then start building something. It doesn't have to be a business. It could be anything. Work on something. Build something. Build a relationship, right? Like, just work on something. So that's the video. Hope you enjoyed. And if you feel called out by this, if you feel like I was speaking to you, leave a comment down below. Follow me on social media, which is funny because I just told you to unfollow everybody. But if you enjoy the video, I have that available for more behind the scenes of what my life looks like and all that stuff. That is incredibly hypocritical that I asked you to do that. But you get the point. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.